Hey guys, welcome back to round 2 of Are We Hip? Today we're going to discuss internal and external rotation capacities so that we're able to do stuff like this much more effectively. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back. This is Coach Bolt, and this is part 2 of Are We Hip? In part 2 of Are We Hip, we're going to discuss the internal and external capacities of the hip. The functions of internal and external rotation are vital for movements such as squatting and running. So it is vital for us to keep those capacities available as we age. So for this video, you'll need a yoga block, a ball, and a foam roller. First, we're going to go with our foam roller, and we're going to start off with our glute max. We're going to roll slowly to identify restrictions. Once found, we're going to sit and take a couple deep breaths. Now we're going to move on to our TFL. We're going to do the same thing as we did with our glutes. We're going to slowly roll, identifying restriction areas, and we'll slowly glide top to bottom, left to right. Now we're going to use a ball to get a little bit deeper into that glute. We're going to try to get closer to where the femur connects with the hip. We're going to identify with the tissues that are most restrictive, and we're going to try to take a deep breath. We want to stay away from nervy pain. Take your time because this area is quite painful. Now moving on to the inner thigh and quads. We're going to utilize a face down position with a foam roller. We're going to roll up and down nice and slowly, identifying what's tight and restrictive. Once found, we're going to extend our knee to full extension and back. Lastly, we're going to move up north a little bit closer to the groin. We're going to utilize a more lateral movement as rolling left to right. Once again, be careful of nervy pain. Stay away from anything that may feel sharp and uncomfortable. Our first exercise for today will begin with a lying Pails contraction for internal rotation. Our goal is to keep our back flat, feet flat to the floor. We're going to start with our knees inside of our feet. Our goal is to be able to squeeze the yoga block in internal rotation from 10 to 30 seconds. Moving on to our second exercise for internal rotation, we're going to just change positions to the seated position. We want to keep our chest tall, our spine straight, and our feet flat to the ground. Again, we're going to start with our knees slightly inside of our feet so that we start our hips into internal rotation. Our goal is to squeeze the block anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds. We want to be able to control all the musculature required to create contraction for internal rotation at the hips. You can adjust the block's position in order to gain better awareness of how to contract for internal rotation. Moving on to our first exercise for external rotation. We're going to use 90-90 position. Our goal is to be able to lift up into external rotation or end range for 3 to 5 seconds and then slowly come down. Our focus is to stay tall, driving the opposing knee down into the ground while lifting the opposite knee up into external rotation. We can increase the difficulty by adding a higher starting position for external rotation. Our goal is to stay tall and in control of all our movements. Next, we have an end range hold for external rotation in 90-90 position. We're going to assist our knee up into our end range of motion for external rotation. Then we're going to remove our hand for assistance while keeping our knee in that same position without compensating our body. Our goal is to be able to hold this position anywhere from 10 to 15 seconds per rep. And the last mobility drill we have for today for internal and external rotation is Pails and rails. Our first contraction will be into the Pails contraction. We're going to isometrically load internal rotation for 10 to 15 seconds. I'm trying to keep my hip pins forward and drive my knee down into the yoga block. For my rails contraction, I'm going to take a deep breath, maintaining my spinal position. While I keep my glute engaged, I'm going to externally rotate my femur away from the yoga block. We're going to try to hold our rails contraction anywhere from 10 to 15 seconds.